Crowds bid, and soon the price drove up to 12 million. Many people retire when they knew the difficulties, but there are still people who know the goods persevering. At this moment, Mr. Jingai stood up and said loudly, "I'm out of 15 million. After speaking, he turned around and bowed his hands to everyone, smiling. "Dear friends, I am here at this auction today. It is for this clam. Please give Jingai a certain noodle. Let Jingai a certain time. Later I will give everyone a peace symbol as a gift of gratitude." Most of the guests present were the bosses. Knowing the reputation of Mr. Jingai, they did not dare to offend casually. If it doesn't work well, people can make a fool of themselves, and it will make you jump around. Besides, giving away 200,001 peace charms is not in vain, so although many people are unhappy, they still choose to bear it. Although Fungi Bayo's face remained silent, he was really unhappy in his heart. Originally, the auction was for the higher bidder, but Mr. Jingai broke the rules. If the 15 million were taken away by him, it wouldn't be a big deal for him to make less money, but after the reputation spreads, the prestige of Treasure Pavilion in the industry will surely be damaged. But Fungi Bao also knew that Mr. Jingai was very strong and very skilled, so he couldn't easily offend him, so he could only give up. Mr. Jingai was so proud that he couldn't hold back his excitement. For this clam, he did not hesitate to fly to Orus Hill. After several setbacks, he finally got what he wanted. What is a mere 15 million? As long as things get into his hands, he can definitely make a fortune. Moreover, the scene was indeed silent. It seemed that he had made a move with master stroke, and no one dared to bid with him. This is face, this is majesty. All over the country, who wouldn't give a bit of a thin face to Mr. Jingai? It seems that this piece of crustacean, he has picked up a big leak of 15 million. At this moment, a faint voice sounded again. "I pay 30 million. As soon as this sound came out, the venue was quiet. Everyone looked at the bidder in unison, with surprise in their hearts. It's him again. It was the young man in ordinary clothes. At first glance, there was nothing extraordinary, but the two bids with Stephen were impressive. The point is that he bid sky-high prices twice and swiped his card for payment both times. It was so awesome. However, no one thought that this guy would dare to challenge Mr. Jingai. Mr. Jingai saw him at a glance, and his face suddenly sank. At this time, Stephen stood up in shock and rubbed his eyes vigorously. Warnia didn't expect that Charlie would suddenly make an offer with Mr. Jingai. She only knew that Charlie had the ability to appraise treasures, but did not know how many assets Charlie had. She couldn't help thinking to herself that she didn't even want to offend Master Jingai. This Charlie, wouldn't he worry about Mr. Jinghai's revenge? It was Jacob who recovered first, and hurriedly pulled him. "Charlie, what are you doing? Sit down." "Dad, I have a sense of measure." Charlie turned his head and said lightly, then raised his head again, his eyes extremely calm. "Charlie, what do you mean? Want to grab Master Jinghai's stuff?" Stephen took the initiative and asked coldly. Charlie smiled slightly. "This is an auction. Everyone can shoot. How can you say that you are robbing others? You are so big, don't you understand the rules?" After speaking, Charlie sneered again. You should just sit there and stop talking. Don't you feel blushing just after losing your face?" When Stephen heard this, he was immediately embarrassed and immediately sat back with a guilty conscience and stopped speaking. Mr. Jingai sullenly, staring at Charlie like an owl, coldly said, "It's you again. Do you know where I came from? Do you dare to snatch things from Jingai?" Charlie sneered and asked him, "I care not what kind of chicken bully you are, I will snatch it from you today, what I think is mine." Mr. Jingai is going crazy. He enjoys a great reputation both at home and abroad. Everyone present respects him, but this kid is extremely arrogant. He demolished his platform several times, which is really annoying. What's even more exaggerated is that he dared to scold him. This is simply looking for death! Exclamation mark. The people present were also shocked. What the H*LL is this grandson? How dare you be so tough? Scold Mr. Jingai? Tired of life, right? Mr. Jingai, a feng shui master, has 10,000 ways to kill him without drawing blood. However, even though Mr. Jingai was angry in his heart, in order to get the clam at a low price, he still maintained his demeanor on the surface and smiled and said, "This friend, you and I had a little misunderstanding at the door just now, but just a little thing. Just open it. If you bid with me for revenge, it would be too cautious, right? Mr. Jingai himself is preparing 15 million to take this clam, but if he and Charlie are firm, the next bid will exceed 30 million. He doesn't want to spend so much money. Therefore, he swallowed his breath and hoped that Charlie could withdraw his bid. After he gets the 15 million clams, he will slowly settle accounts with him." Charlie had seen his motives a long time ago, and said contemptuously, "Don't talk nonsense with me, I am also fond of this clam. If you can afford it, you can pay, and you can play with it. If you can't afford it, let me take it." The scene is crazy again. D***MN it. This buddy actually let Mr. Jingai play eggs. Is it too kind? Mr. Jingai kept a cold face, but in order to save money, he continued to speak. "I really like this clam, can you give me face?" Charlie glanced at him and said flatly, "Give you face? Do I know you?" After speaking, Charlie asked again, "Hey, just tell me, can't you afford to pay?" Mr. Jinghai's face is extremely ugly. So far no one has dared to speak to him like this. Moreover, the other party looked as young as 20 or so, younger than his own disciples and grandchildren.